to Dialogues of the Immigrant Village. This is your friend Obed Arango, and today we are talking about the Norristown Area School District Board. Some events happening next week, what has been happening in the last couple past weeks, and that will be the first topic of today. The second topic of today, it will be about the State of the Union that was given and presented on February 24. This is your friend Obed Arango from the city of the brotherly love, Philadelphia, in the suburb of Norristown. And let's start with the information. As you know, in the month of January, the first session of the new board of the school district of Norristown, they took the decision not to renew the contract or the current superintendent, Mr. Chris Dormer, ending his contract on June, or the end of June. That decision, it took by surprise to many members of the community and to many leaders of the community. Some people might think that this is positive or negative. What I want to use is the word, it was surprise. It was suppressive. It was a surprise because such decision was not taken with the opinion or the input of the students, parents, and community in general. Those that through decades and through the years, we have committed ourselves to the education in the town and to work with kids, children, young children, teenagers, and high schoolers, and even with those who are in college. The decision came to a surprise because through the years, especially during the latest years, we have been working well with Mr. Dormer, and we were in a continuity of plans. It is not my job right now to say if this is positive or negative, but surprising. Surprising because it can be seen for some as a positive, and it can be seen for some as a negative. And I want to be respectful of the different opinions regarding that. However, what is concerning to many of us, and what is concerning to me and to many other leaders who has expressed the same opinion, is the way how has been done, without consulting the community, without taking the opinion of the community. Now, having done that, that has no reverse. We are afraid of the continuity because starting sometime, the school district says that it will be June when they will have the new superintendent finally sign it. My concern is that usually it takes time to start to work with a new superintendent. Therefore, we have this year, perhaps 2 more years, 1/3 of a decade in the make to try to find continuity again and perhaps to start to have some results. The concern for the lack of continuity is something that will have to be addressed. There are projects, there are initiatives that were moving forward and that were taking more and more important changes into the school district. As I say, I don't want to say if it's positive or negative. That is not the time yet to judge that, but to say that it was surprising, and I will say for the community, it was something that we don't want to be left behind. I have expressed this in a public comment, therefore I am not just coming right here to the media to say my opinion, but it was last week in the board of directors meeting, where in the public comment I read for 3 minutes exactly the same opinion that right now I am expressing. an opinion that is important because in the new process, that day was presented the timeline of how and when or how will happen the hiring of the new superintendent. According to the timeline that was presented, February is the month where they start to interview candidates, and March is the time when they want to have the input in focus groups of the community of the kind of superintendent that we want and we need. As the process might sound backwards, because I will think that first you need the opinion of the community, unless they have already certain people in mind, no? Perhaps already have some people in conversations. We would like to know. We would like to know who are they, what is the proposal that they have done, because then the focus groups will be, I will say, more productive. The focus groups has been reduced to 2 days. It has been reduced to Tuesday, March 3rd, in the Carver Center, in the George Washington Carver Center, from 6 to 8 p.m. From 6 to 8 p.m. And on Wednesday, from 6 to 8 p.m. in Aclamo. Therefore, we're inviting the families, and they are asked us to invite families to come to both sessions. According to the email that some leaders will receive, they will have refreshments and they will have also focus groups, divided in focus groups, and commenting that they will have translation for these focus groups to happen. We encourage the community to attend, to express their opinion. This is not a town hall meeting where you can ask questions and get an answer. This is instead a focus group where they will ask you questions in order to take your opinion. Therefore, this is not a meeting for clarifications or a meeting where you can make questions and get clarity on certain topics. It's mostly a meeting where they want your opinion as a community in order to decide the profile or the kind or the characteristics that a superintendent should have. Therefore, having said that, it seems that 2 days for focus groups is not a large period of time for people to express their opinions, for people to come into conclusions. The Norristown Area School District is conformed by 3 municipalities: Norristown, West Norriton, and East Norriton. Having only two focus groups sessions in Norristown, it left behind, excludes East Norriton and West Norriton families that do not live in Norristown, and perhaps it becomes difficult to go to both locations. In my opinion, it should be considered also focus groups in those 2 locations, one in West Norriton, one is East Norriton, and to reach out also those families and to give more opportunity to the other 2 municipalities that are also part of the Norristown Area School District. Having said that, nevertheless, regardless what has been already presented and defined, the time for give your opinion is Tuesday, March 3rd from 6 to 8 p.m. at the George Washington Carver Community Center, that is located in 2 49 East Jacoby Street here in Norristown. Or on Wednesday, March 4, from 6 to 8 p.m. at Aclamo, which is located in 801 West Marshall Street, also here in Norristown. Hopefully you can make it and to be closer to any of these two centers and be able to participate on this important event. We appreciate, of course, it's important to give our opinion. That is something that is important. To be in this process without the opinion of the community, well. But also, I will say, it will be fine and actually the acceptable thing to do to ask our opinion as a community before the fact and not only after the fact. Because if before the fact you ask your opinion of the community and the community confirm that they want a change, then you have the validation of the decision that you are taking. But without listening to the community, taking a decision like this, it becomes something that the community start to hesitate and start to question. We want the best for our school district. We work very hard every day with our students to move them forward in their lives, to succeed in the school, and also to achieve the dreams. That is a commitment that we have had here in Secate for the last 15 years, every day, generation after generation. Therefore, we know what is that commitment. And of course, we want the best for our school district. We have been always supportive of the school district. And we know that other organizations like Aclamo, like Arbor Center, also work hard with the students to move them forward. There's no doubt about it. We have the will. We have the goodwill. But there will be partnership with us. You should consider to listen to the community before any decision is taken. As we used to say in Mexico, con la comunidad, todo, sin la comunidad, nada. With the community, everything. Without the community, nothing. A principle that helps us to understand belonging. A principle that helps us to understand and to work in inclusion. A principle which helps us to defend democracy. Perhaps it's because we are tired of a year of imposition, a bigger level. Perhaps because we are tired that people act in ways of executive orders. That we are mistrusting many of the actions that are taken without the consultation of the community. In order to defend our democracy, it starts at local level. It starts at local level with simple facts of closeness with the community, talking to the community, listening to the community, and making the question. Do you consider? No, do you consider? Not now, not for this focus group, because this is after the fact. But before the fact, it will be worth to ask the community the question. Now, I think it will be great if you can share to us the questions for this coming Tuesday and Wednesday. Therefore, we can be ready and give substantive and robust answers to the questions that the focus group will have. We would like to think on the questions, then we can become and be prepared with good answers, because what we want is the best for the school district. We want to bring then a superintendent that will work positively with our community, that will understand the challenges that we have as a community, and that will be able to move forward. Having said that, it's good. It's good that these focus groups are happening, however, are not enough. And but in my opinion, not only my opinion, but opinion of other leaders of the community, leaders that has been committed, we feel that this has been a fast track, that there is a rushing, that there is a fast track, that everything is compressed in a little timeline, taking a very important decision for this community, for the coming generations, and that is not something that we take lightly. The school district is the backbone of every town, every region, and every community. All of us, we remember of the schools, all of us, we remember our teachers, all of us, we have memories of that. And certainly the responsibility of us is to make the best of these years. We know that all of us, we have the best intentions. I want to think in that. We have those best intentions. Otherwise, why we will be questioning and challenging is because we want the best for the school district now and in the future. As I say, we have always collaborated. But collaboration is a partnership and is equal. It's partnership and is equal. In that sense, we would like to be reached out, because it's a two-direction. It's bi-directional. Having said that, I have the confirmation that the two members, the Vice President Cynthia Davenport and President Jeremiah Lemke, will be here in Diálogos de la Villa Inmigrante on March 27. March 27, both of them will be here. Please send the questions that you have. Feel free to send the questions that you have. You can send them through Messenger here, or you can send them to my email, obed@ccate.org, obed@ccate.org, obed@secate.org, or send me a message here in Messenger. We want to have a good, robust, friendly conversation with the President and Vice President of the Norristown Area School District. As I say, we want to work together as a community. We want the school district board to work together with the community. That is our goal. That is our means. That is what we want. And that is what we would like to have together. And I think it's possible. I believe in their goodwill. I believe in the goodwill of the town. And we have also the goodwill. The second topic of today, it has to do with the tradition of this country of having the State of the Union. The State of the Union is the report of the President according how was the year. The State of the Union was given this Tuesday, 24, and it was a State of the Union that it was characterized for false information. It has been already challenged in most media that many of the statements of President Trump were fake, were false. Some of those, it has to do, for example, when he says that inflation is going down and salaries are going up, it's exactly the contrary. The salary has been losing power, has been losing the power to buy. Through the system of tariffs, we can see prices going up. You need to only to go. No, I mean, for me, for example, to see coffee that before it was $6.50, no, last year, today is $10.50. The same coffee. Or mandarins that were $3.50 1 month and a half ago, today are $5.99. Almost the double, no? And just it takes to walk the aisles of a supermarket to see how the prices has been going up. People has told me, well, you need to go to many places of it. Maybe you can save some money. Absolutely. We try to do our best in visiting different supermarkets. Aldi and the nearby. I will not make announcements here where. However, the truth is that even if you do that effort, if the country is having really the groceries down, that will be reflected in most supermarkets. But we know that that is not happening. The system of tariffs, which is a tax over the tax, is hurting the families of the United States. It's hurting the families of the town. And it is important to express this to our Congress people and to our representatives, that the tariffs are hurting the life of the families and the community and the children. The truth is that the healthcare system is more expensive for above 15 million people in this country, nearly to 20 million people. It is true also that the unemployment under President Biden was 4.2, but now it's 4.6. It's going up. President Trump says that the unemployment was going down. It's the contrary, is going up. Therefore, if you want to listen the State of the Union, is almost the opposite to every declaration that he said. When he says it's going down, you can think that it's going up. When he says that it's going up, you can think that it's going down. That's the best way to listen the State of the Union this year. It's exactly or the opposite of what he was saying. And I don't say it. It has been plenty challenges, NPR, CNN, Fox News, which we know that has been the channel that has transmit more propaganda of the current administration. Therefore, having said that, it's important to listen because elections are coming, and that is also a democratic exercise, a democracy exercise that we have, that we need to have, and that we need to defend the vote, as there is also plans for suppression of vote, and we cannot let that to happen. The suppression of vote is something that is started to be pressure, asking and requesting that everyone should have an ID. But the truth is that the system in the United States, it has not been created for everybody to have an ID. Different than in Mexico. In Mexico, the Mexican government, federal elections are in charge by the federal government. And then it has been taking years, many years, until everyone had the INE card, which is the voting card. But it has been an effort that has been taking decades to give the right to every person, the right to vote, that everybody could have access to an identification. However, in the United States, elections are in charge by the state, and each state defines their methodology. It's not the federation, the one who has to impose how the elections are given to each state. That's the system in the United States. Therefore, the respect to the state legislation is very important, and the system has not been created for everybody to have access to ID. That is a privilege in this country. Therefore, only people with that privilege will be able to vote. I want to remind you, during the slavery years, only white people vote. It was not the right for people who were in the margins. The right to vote in this country until 1964 was practically given to everyone in the civil rights. Therefore, now the suppression of the vote is practically going against the civil rights of 1964 and the right to vote. Therefore, let's be clear what is in game. November is election time. Right now is very good time. Talk to your young people to register. Talk to your young people to go and register the name. Then they can vote in November. And very important to see what is happening in the country. The defense of democracy. It has to be one of the things that we need to care about it. Having said that, I would like to close with this. With the people, everything. Without the people, nothing. Con la gente todo, sin la gente. Con el pueblo todo, sin el pueblo nada. This was your friend Obed Arango, from the city of the brotherly love, Philadelphia. You have been in Dialogues of the Immigrant Village. Until the next time. Muchas gracias.